According to Ofgem, the energy price cap is a backstop protection from the government for people who default onto their supplier's basic energy tariff. Ofgem calculates the cap level that suppliers must apply to these tariffs. Ofgem are Great Britain's independent energy regulator, and their role is to protect energy customers like me and you, and especially vulnerable people. The energy price cap is part of this objective, and it essentially sets out in law a maximum per unit price for energy, which reflects the costs on the wholesale market for acquiring that energy and supplying it to us and our homes. And it applies to anyone that's on their supplier's variable standard tariff, which is about 80% of people at the moment, and doesn't apply if you're on a fixed rate deal. Let's rewind slightly. Exactly what energy are we talking about? Where on earth does it come from? How do we pay it? And crucially, why is there a price cap and how does that actually work in practice? And what is it that Liz Truss, our new Prime Minister, has just announced that will cost the taxpayer, that's you and me, up to £200 billion? What energy are we talking about, and where does it come from? Well, it's electricity and gas. Let's look at electricity first. For us in the UK, it comes from a number of different sources, which is really important on keeping a regular supply so that we're never over-reliant on any one source. Some very rough figures: around half comes from burning fossil fuels like natural gas and coal, about 20% comes from nuclear reactors, 25% from renewable sources like wind farms and solar. The final 5% is imported from France, the Netherlands and Ireland. Now onto gas. About half of the UK's gas comes from the North Sea, and about a third is sourced from Norway. The rest is made up from imports from countries such as Qatar and the US. Russian gas only actually makes up about 3 to 4% of the gas that we consume here in the UK, and there are no direct gas pipelines linking the UK to Russia. Europe, on the other hand, is very different. Around 35% of their gas is from Russian sources. How do we pay for it? We pay for energy in two main ways: a price per kilowatt and a standing charge. A standing charge is an amount that we pay every single day, come rain or shine, whether we're home or not, and that goes towards covering the infrastructure of actually getting the energy to our front door, the pipe network itself. And then the price per kilowatt is what you actually use when you boil your kettle, warm your soup and watch your TV. But prices for energy are going through the roof, mainly down to the continuing rise of wholesale gas prices, which began to go crazy as we came out of the pandemic and sprung back into life, but have been caused further pain by Russia restricting gas supplies to Europe as a consequence of its ongoing conflict with the Ukraine. But this begs an important question, doesn't it? If the UK only receives around 4% of its gas supplies from Russia, therefore we are not reliant on Russian gas whatsoever in the same way that Europe is, then why are we suffering? The answer to this in truth is pretty complex and multifaceted, from the lack of gas storage here in the UK to Germany bolstering its reserves, but it all really boils down to one main point. It's all about general scarcity of supply, mainly down to Russia's actions and an increased level of demand. So although we don't rely on a direct supply from Russia, their actions have caused a general scarcity in global markets, and therefore we still feel the effects of this. What is the price cap and how does it work? So now we know the price cap is a limit put on the price per kilowatt and standing charge that we pay for our gas and electricity. As the price cap cannot be set below the true costs of buying and supplying energy to us, these rising global wholesale costs for energy are now being reflected in the cap, which we've already seen rise by about 54% in April this year, but there was more pain scheduled to come on the way on the 1st of October, until recently. From the 1st of October 2022, the price cap was moving from 28p per kilowatt for electricity to 52p per kilowatt, an increase of just under 86%, with the daily standing charge moving up 1 pence from 45 to 46p. For gas, we were going from 7 pence per kilowatt to 15 pence per kilowatt, an increase of 114%, with the daily standing charge going up by 1p also from 27 to 28p. These are significant increases on top of what we've already had, especially for gas, as you can see. And what this all meant was we were going to be paying a whole lot more for our energy. Average figures of £3,549 for a dual fuel household. That's about £300 a month. What has Liz Truss just announced? Our new Prime Minister Liz Truss has put her pants on the outside of her trousers and swooped in to save the day. There's an image for you. She's just announced measures that will cost the UK taxpayer up to £200 billion. A freeze on the price cap of £2,500 a year for the next 2 years. That's closer to £200 a month instead of £300 a month. A definite boost in the pockets of everyone, which of course we'll need to pay for our food. But it actually gets even better than this, because the one-off £400 deduction from our energy bills announced by the now departed Rishi Sunak is also still going ahead. So in the first year, that will bring the price cap down to £2,100. This is only for the first year though, and in year 2 it will go back up to the quoted figure of £2,500. Now here's where people get really confused. It is not the case that absolutely no one will pay any more than £2,500, so it's time to boil all the kettles you like. The price cap is a cap on the price per unit and standing charge, so it still depends how much energy you use as to how much you will pay. The £2,500 figure is just what they calculate for the average home, so in fact your bills could be more or less than this. And don't forget, this only applies for people on their supplier's standard variable tariff, not for anyone that's on a fixed rate deal. You've already fixed the price per kilowatt and standing charge on your contract, so the price cap does not apply to you. Overall, this is still more than you've been paying previously, so you still need to find more cash to keep your houses warm, but this intervention is massive because not only were we having further rises in October, there were also even more rises planned for January and April 2023, which we will now avoid. I'm not going to lie, as a sole earner in a family of 4, I did breathe a sigh of relief when I heard these announcements, but the next thing to discuss is how we're going to pay for it as the taxpayer in the long run, because that is Liz's plan. The post-COVID debt pile continues to grow, but hey-ho, that's a problem for further down the line. Consider the can firmly kicked. God forbid we get the energy companies to contribute. They're only making more money than they know what to do with. No, that would be a daft idea. Do you know it's predicted that UK energy producers will make about £170 billion in profit over the next 2 years? That's profit, to be clear. That's money that's left over after everybody has been paid their salaries and bonuses. Now, of course, that's just an estimate, and I don't think they should foot the whole bill. I'm not some wild lefty here who thinks profit is a dirty word. I know there are shareholder interests to protect too. But it just seems obvious to me that some help could and should come from these coffers. What Liz has effectively done is wandered in late to an office party, ordered a massive drinks order and stuck it on the ever-growing tab. She looks like a hero. For now.